Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership Next Level webinar series. We're so happy to have you with us. And today we're going to have a presentation on preparing for your 2015 online marketing. Social media and online marketing can be very, very intimidating. And we have with us this evening Marla Curry, president of TAG Inc., to share her tips and trade secrets with us about how to make online and social media work for you. Before we start, and I turn it over to Marla, I'd like to just share a little bit with you about the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership in case you're not familiar. We are a nonprofit organization that works with small businesses like yours to help you get to the next level. Our goal overall is to support economic development in local communities, to help them thrive, and to help you as an business owner, get to the next level. Our focus is really on helping you to increase your access to knowledge, networks, and capital that we all know are so important for entrepreneurial success. You can take a look at our website. You can see all the resources that we have available to you. Most importantly, we hope that you will join one of our membership levels where we provide a range of support based on the membership level that you choose. We also have our workshop and business opportunities programming that is in New York City, as well as in our 6 affiliate locations in other states outside of New York City. So we're very excited about that. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to this evening's presenter, Marla Curry. And I will now turn it over to Marla. Marla, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jill, and thank you to the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership for giving me the opportunity to discuss preparing for online marketing. I'm really going to focus in on what you should be considering right now to prepare to market online in 2015. Let's jump right in. Now that we're in the 4th quarter of 2014, it's time to begin to think about how to grow in 2015. Now, when analyzing your marketing, you have to consider the traditional marketing factors, the 4 P's of marketing. You have to examine performance against the product, the price, how you placed it, and, of course, promotion. We're going to be talking about promotion. And the goal really is to reach this huge audience out there of potential buyers. This is where your growth as a business is going to come. And the goal is indeed to grow, to make money. Now, on the World Wide Web, the objective is visibility. And just like a Waldo, you are here, some tiny little infinitesimal speck in the ether world trying to get awareness online. Now let's look at the primary tools of online marketing. There's search optimization, social media, email marketing, and online advertising. And you know all the major players. And there are a lot of smart folks out there that want to tell you how you can access the audiences on the internet. But you're a small business, and I'm here to talk to you about small business solutions. Now, you have to know for your particular business situation and your website, which of these tools is right for you? Which one is right for your business? And certainly the website ends up figuring large in that as well. Let's talk about your website. Your website is your business address in the virtual world. Your website is the face of your business. Your website is a place for commerce, whether it's e-commerce or not. When you begin to think about preparing for 2015 and thinking about your website, one of the key things that we hear a lot, often from small businesses, is that they have to consider the age of their site. There are a lot of old websites that are out there. The design aesthetic might not be good anymore, or maybe perhaps never was. Many of them are just not user-friendly. As a business owner, you have to think if the site's functionalities are adequate for your needs. Do you need a cart? Do you need client login? What isn't your website doing for you? And of course, from a marketing standpoint, you have to wonder if your website is compliant with search algorithm updates. Now, this is a website that was done circa 2005. This is the site that is for that same, it's a church that is being built right now. Notice very different, much longer page, much more modular, much more colors. There is a website aesthetic out there, and you have to evaluate whether or not your site matches up. So in terms of the website to-dos to prepare for 2015, update your site. Consider a site facelift. If your site is over 2 years old, you might want to consider getting a new site done. At a minimum, though, if you like your site design and you want to keep it, do a site refresh of all the content and all the images. Change everything out, freshen everything up, update your site. Be certain that your site is SEO compliant. If you don't know how to do this, you should seek the help of an expert to get your site analyzed and get little items really fixed so that your site is more searchable. And then finally, know which digital marketing tools are right for your particular business situation. Now let's look at those tools specifically one by one. Let's start with search optimization. Search engines. It's a primary means of accessing really the storehouse of global facts and fictions. That is the internet. Search engines collect massive amounts of data on individuals' web behavior. And on search engines, words are elevated in importance since keywords magically call certain websites to display in search results and not others. Google is the largest search engine and sets the rules for how sites are globally ranked. Fresh content is important, both words and images. Credibility is important. Google likes for third parties to link to your website, and in their minds, that gives you credibility. Content is king, and keywords continue to be important. Google has indeed established the quest for website rank as a seminal business endeavor, and for that, they deserve the distinction of being who they are. Website rank leads to site traffic, and search engine optimization efforts is a free endeavor, but most people don't know that it's really not critical after you've the initial setup of your website and what we call annual SEO tune-ups. You really don't have to worry about search engine optimization a lot. But in terms of optimization, let's talk about some to-dos for 2015. Your site may need an SEO tune-up. That's a back-end checkup to ensure that basic search engine compliance practices are in place. Google is renowned for changing its algorithm and thus making some edicts that it had in the past no longer as important, or some have even gone away. and it's important to ensure that your site is compliant for search purposes. And then keywords. You still need keywords. And keywords change almost every day in terms of the global universe of search. Keywords change. So you don't assume you know the right keywords to include in search optimization efforts. Google has a free keyword research tool, and you should access it. And finally, update your content on your site for the benefit of site visitors and not search engines. As mentioned, relentless content updates aren't necessary after basic compliance is satisfied if you're not chasing site rank. If you are chasing rank, then you must update content, and you must update content frequently. Let's talk about social media. Social media is the engagement that leads to popularity, the likes, the friends, the fan designations that get bestowed based on the perceived value of content. And that content is not always business content. Social media really is a person-to-person rather than a business-to-business initiative, although Facebook and other social media have made businesses think that they need to engage their audiences there. And so they have made the need to share, to communicate, a need of the average Joe, but also it's a business endeavor. Let's talk about social media to-dos for 2015. If the goal is growth, social media, although it is the #1 promotion tool among small businesses, may not be the way to go. You have to really determine if social media how important it is to your business. And if it is important, choose one network to concentrate on. In the world of business, I would say that network would be LinkedIn. And then you must post valuable content. You can't do any selling on social media. The content has to be of value. You have to respond back to anyone that responds to you. And you won't get a lot of responses. I write quite a bit, and I've written pieces that I certainly thought were great pieces. And the few people that did respond back said they were great pieces, but they were few people. You don't get a lot of response back. And finally, you have to be realistic about the time demands of social media efforts versus the payoff. Be sure that you keep in mind your role as a business owner and not an unpaid author. Social media can take a lot of time. I had one expert say that you need to devote 25 hours a week to social media. That is a lot of time. Most small businesses don't have that kind of time to devote. Really determine if social media is important to your business before you invest the time and the money in it. Let's talk about email marketing. Email marketing is the engagement that leads to action. It's a very effective online marketing tool. It's considered almost the most personal of online marketing tools because you put your message right in an individual's email box. You have to be compliant with canned spam laws, so you have to make sure that you have permission to mail to someone. And with email marketing, you're marketing to your current customer base primarily, so you're not getting awareness among new customers, but it is extremely effective against your current customers. Let's talk about some email marketing to-dos. If you want to do email marketing, you need a list of names and email addresses. You have to either generate it, which is the way most people often do, or you can buy it. There are list sellers. You buy a list and do a permission pass to establish your own list. Lists have to be managed. You have to make sure your list is scrubbed of unsubscribes, or you can get penalized by the third party that might be actually handling the mailing. And there is software or a service to buy. And you have to deliver valuable content in an email to customers. Even though they know you're trying to sell them something, the best emails come wrapped in something of value. Let's talk about online advertising. This is the awareness that leads to revenue. It's extremely effective. There are 200 years of proof that advertising works. You can deliver a strong sales message via text or display ads. And you're marketing to new and existing customers. Now, traditionally, advertising was always the province of big business. But the internet has made advertising affordable for small businesses, and that is something that a lot of small businesses are not aware of. You get guaranteed exposure with online advertising, and that leads to business building. And you have an opportunity to deliver a hard selling message as opposed to some of the other online marketing tools where you have to sort of tiptoe around a sale. Not so with online advertising. You're there to sell. Everybody recognizes that. And you can put your best sales message out there. So online advertising, now growth is now available to small businesses through online advertising. So let's talk about some online advertising to-dos. You need digital media and you need ad creative. Now I'm going to stop here and do a little commercial for my company because we launched 2 new services in this area. Fixed price online media campaigns and on-demand graphic design. These are solutions that are priced for small business. We have a campaign called the Ad Blaster, a 30-day high-intensity media campaign. We have 3 campaigns under the Sustain umbrella and an annual 12 campaign that gives you 12 months of continuous online media exposure. In the on-demand graphic design area, we do graphic design ads, custom ads. And we are just launching an ad design portfolio where you get 5 different size ads for $499. Now, it's very important to consider budgeting for online marketing. This really is an opportunity to energize your business through real marketing. It really is an outward commitment to your business's growth. And it really is that juxtaposition when a micro business becomes a small business, when the business owner or business owners set aside a dedicated marketing budget. That's when a micro business, in my estimation, has stepped up to being a small business, and with that, the attendant dedication and focus on growth through planning and execution of a marketing program. So when you start thinking about budgeting, search engine optimization is a free tool, but it's not always needed. Social media networking also free, but the payoff is negligible. When you want to start actually thinking about budgeting for the other online marketing tools, if you have an outside person doing search engine optimization for you, you can figure on average $500 a month. Social media, $500 to $750 a month. Email marketing, about $1,500 a month. And online advertising, surprisingly, $400 a month. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to present. If you'd like to read more, you can follow this link, tagontheweb.com, news October 2014, get_ready_2015R. Or if you would like a copy of our ebook, Website Design Aesthetic, you can email us with the subject line ebook to results@tagontheweb.com. Jill?
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much, Marla.
Jill?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much, Marla. So now we're going to get to some questions. If you have questions, please type them in the question box, and I will ask the questions as we move along. So, first question is about domain names. And way back when, everyone thought it was really, really important to get a very short domain name, which is how we ended up with IFLNJ.org. However, I find myself now, always having to say I, F as in Frank, E, L as in Larry, N as in Nancy. And I know the thinking on that seems to have shifted a little bit. How important is your domain name? And if you can't get a domain name that's similar to your business, how should you really think about choosing a domain name if you're just now getting one?
That's an excellent question. Your domain name is extremely important, and you're right. Initially, everyone thought the thinking was to have a short domain name, that no one would want to type out a longer name, and so we have what I call alphabet soup domain names that do absolutely nothing for a business in terms of search. So what you want to do is have a name that is searchable. You want to have a name in which someone can, if they're looking for you specifically, can find you if they know your name or have a broad match for your name. Now, if you are just starting a business and looking to develop a domain name, and let's say your domain name that you would like, maybe your company's name, is taken. There are a number of options that you can work around that. You can still try to see if you can get the name with hyphens between it. I don't necessarily recommend doing too many hyphens, but one or two hyphens, particularly one hyphen, in a domain name is not too bad. The other thing is that if you don't want to go the hyphen route, you can always try to put Inc. or LLC or something on the end of the domain name, again spelling that whole company name out as far as you can, as another way to go. And then finally, if none of those are options, you can try to choose a name that's more of a marketing name. Let's say it's a company that makes or sells shoes, and the company's name is Johnson Shoe Company. The Johnson Shoe Company is taken, but Johnson Shoe Company is known to have fabulous leather shoes. Your domain name could be fabulousleathershoes.com.
Terrific.
Okay.
Excellent. And I think that now people are so used to just typing out exactly the name of a company that's almost expected.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you've got an alphabet soup domain name, get rid of it. Get a new name. You could always have your host server point your old domain URL to your new domain address. So you wouldn't have to get rid of any old business cards or any old stationery. You just have a better domain name.
Terrific, thank you. And along those same lines, how much should people offer to, how much should someone expect to offer to buy a name if you see that no one's using it, but someone's just holding it and they're offering it up for sale? How do you think about pricing for a domain name?
Do you know, unless that domain name had so much value that it was terrifically necessary for my company to own that name. And when I say value, I do mean an economic, a financial value. If it was just a name that I liked, I would pick another name. I would find something else. I wouldn't pay for a name. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't pay for a name.
Terrific, thanks. Okay, let's see, let's go to another question here. Can you please give a rough estimate of the time that one should expect to spend to do SEO and to obtain a good Google ranking?
Do you know, as I mentioned, I had an expert say that you needed 25 hours a week to spend on search and social media. As a small business owner, that is half of the week. You just don't have that kind of time to devote to it. In terms of trying to get to the top of Google results, if that's the goal, then the online tool should be not search or social. It should be online advertising. That's what's going to get you on a Google page. Advertising.
Okay, terrific. And you mentioned, I think it was that online advertising was about $400 a month. Was that right?
Yes, that's correct, for our annual 12 plan at locally, $400 a month.
Okay, on the page where you had how much people should expect to spend on online advertising, is that in general how much people would spend on advertising period online?
You could use that as a figure, yes.
Okay, why so little?
Basis.
There are some other things that seem to be a lot more expensive. Why so little for online advertising?
Well, online advertising goes a long way, particularly when you're in a local market. You're just concentrating maybe in, it could be a few blocks, a neighborhood. You could really get it down fine. And with that amount of money, you can anticipate, if you were doing paid search, you would get from 6 to 12 clicks a day on an ad. So you're talking, what, 180 to what, 360, 400 clicks a month? That's well worth it.
So in other words, even though it's paid, that may be a resource, a tool that many of us are overlooking because we just assume that online advertising will be expensive.
And that's exactly the reason why we've developed fixed packages, because the mindset is, oh, it's advertising, I can't afford it. And, online advertising is very distinct from the traditional methods of advertising, which were perennially out of reach of small business. A small business could never afford the millions of dollars to run an ad on the Super Bowl. But online advertising is very different. It's inexpensive. So yes, $400 a month will get you clicks. It will get you people on your site. It will get you on a Google page. And, that's the message that that my company is bringing to small business, that this is the way to grow online. Last year, large advertisers poured $42 billion into online advertising. And that was more money than they spent in broadcast TV. Now, these are Madison Avenue advertisers. They would not be putting that money in online advertising if it wasn't working. It does work. And as opposed to social media and search, I advocate doing online marketing for small businesses so that they can see results, so that they can grow.
So in other words, it may be more cost effective to spend a little money on advertising versus all the time that's required
Absolutely.
for social media to be effective.
Absolutely. I call myself the anti-social media person, and I'm a certified search engine marketer. But, being realistic in terms of the time demands, I hear it all the time that small businesses have just sort of dropped out of trying to even market on the internet because they've been steered by Google and Facebook into becoming authors. You don't want to become an author. You want to reach the audiences that other authors have generated. That's the goal online.
I got it. And the figures that you're talking about in terms of the advertising, are those more for, seem like they may be more for consumer products. What would you recommend for people selling B2B?
That's very interesting, because most people, when they think of online advertising, that's the first thing they think, oh, no, I have a B2B product. This isn't right for me. But that's very untrue. Online advertising, as I mentioned, the internet is a vast warehouse of data. They've got data on everyone, down to your individual computer in your house. They know everything about you. And that was always the dream of advertising, to have all the data in the world, to know everything about how a potential customer was behaving. The internet has made that a reality. And so even with a B2B customer, you're able to put your message on websites that you think that B2B customer will be at. You're able to determine behaviors that your B2B customer might have that would make his going to certain websites almost predictive. So yes, for a B2B customer, yes, you can use online advertising and be effective at it. Again, if you're looking for leads, to be able to say 400 people came to your website in a month that weren't coming, that's very powerful. That's doing real business online.
Right. So let's turn for a minute to email marketing. How do you get your customer base to opt in?
I used to publish a web magazine, and when we initially launched the magazine, we didn't have a single a subscriber, and we did a permission pass, which was we went to a list owner and we bought names. But the way that it works is that they, not you, send out an email to their list and say, these people would like permission to contact you. Do you want to opt in? And anybody that wants to be in opts in. They fill out a little form and you collect your email addresses. And that's the way you can get email addresses to start. But you really have to make sure that you manage your list. You can get into a lot of trouble if there are old names not on the list, bounce names off not on the list. The email clients, the Gmails, the Yahoos of the world, they'll send your email into spam so nobody will see it. So you want to make sure you land in the inbox and not in somebody's junk mail. So you have to be careful with managing and keeping your lists clean.
If you buy a list from a lot of these companies, is there that same opportunity to ask them to send out an email for you? I thought with many of them, you're really just buying a list of emails and you get what you get.
Yeah, you know, there's no telling. I mean, you hope that the company that you're dealing with is a reputable firm, and there are many. But you know, at the end of the day, having someone to opt into your email is going to depend on the message and how interested that audience is in the message in that email and the potential value of the content that's going to be delivered from the company who is asking for the permission pass.
Okay, terrific. Now, you mentioned something about a free keyword search tool, I believe through Google. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Google has a lot of free tools for website owners. Many of them in the analytical area. That's an area that most small businesses tend to ignore. Is actually analyzing their site traffic, what pages are popular, where people go on their site. That's the reason why for small businesses oftentimes they'll hire a professional to do it, because again it's taking time away from the real business of the business owner. But the Google's keyword tool is a tool that they are using or that can be accessed to determine the best keywords for your business.
Where do you find that tool?
It's on Google. If you were just to go to Google and type in free keyword tool, it will pop up. Now, of course, Google is going to want you to join something. So you're going to have to give some account information to access the tools, but they are free.
Okay, terrific.
And you'd be surprised. I've actually developed just keywords for something in a vacuum. And I might have written down 10 keywords or 10 key phrases that I think would be good key phrases, and I'm never surprised that they end up performing poorly. So that's the thing that I always say is don't try to guess at it. Go to Google and find out what your best keywords are.
And is it best to really focus on every page on your site having the right keywords? I know that some people set up their site and they set up the keywords for the site, but they don't, as they add new pages, they're not really focused on it.
Yeah, it's, again, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to gain rank in the search engines, then yes, you need to make sure all of your pages have header tags and title tags and many other SEO related compliance edicts are satisfied. So you've got to do that. But if you're 99% of websites are on page 2 down to page the nth page, and so for those people, I tell them that it's that they're almost, it's a losing battle really to try to gain rank if you're trying to get to page 1, because the people on page 1 have paid to be there for the most part, and the people who have not paid to be there, the few organic results that are there, those people they tend to have a huge SEO and social media machine behind them. As a small one sole vendor, small shop, small company, it can be hard to keep up, and certainly I'm always of the mind to kind of know what you're going to be putting in versus what you're going to be getting out. of any of these tools.
Terrific. Now, speaking of SEO, you mentioned that after you do the initial SEO setup that you really don't need to do it again. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, that just kind of that kind of follows what I was just saying, is that you need to be compliant with SEO. All websites, you need to be up to date with the latest algorithm changes by primarily Google to ensure that your site is searchable on a very base level. But then after you've done that, unless you are actively trying to increase your site rank, you can really back up off of SEO tasks, the link building, which is the credibility that Google insists sites have, the constant content generation. To me, that benefits nobody but Google. I don't think a small business benefits from doing that. Once a year, though, you should have an expert or your webmaster look at your site again, do a site refresh, and that's what I advocate every year. Change the images out, change the content. Even if you don't change the content, just, spin it. Spin the content. Just make it sound different. So Google robots think, oh, fresh stuff here. Not the same stuff I read last year or last month. Or 2 years ago. So you want to make sure that you go in and refresh the images, if that's your goal. But if getting traffic to your site is your goal, if doing business is your goal, then I go back to say do online advertising. That's where you're going to get the real results.
So it sounds like your point of view is really just that many of us are spending way too much time on SEO and social media when we could get more bang out of just straight online advertising. Of course, it needs to be effective, but still just online advertising.
Yeah, it's no big secret. That's what is most effective, to reach new and existing customers, particularly new customers. And the others take so much time and energy, and they're soft marketing tools. My background is advertising. I'm always for a hard sale because this is business.
Got it. Let's see, another question here. Now, just kind of again back on the SEO, it is free, I guess, if you're doing it yourself, but you also have it as a line item in the marketing budget that you laid out. Was that to have someone else do the SEO for you?
Absolutely, because those people that want to chase site rank find that it is it's very time demanding, and it's better to farm it out to an expert who has no issues writing new articles for you and posting those articles and keeping your blog up and curating articles and doing link building, finding new keywords. It's a full-time job, and it's an ongoing job. It's ongoing once you set your cap on site rank. But if you don't set your cap on site rank, if you set your cap on compliancy, then you make sure that your site is compliant, and you spend your time and energy on other online tools where you'll get a measurable result. You'll be able to count heads at the end of the month, if you will.
And are there any fees when you talk about online advertising? Are there any other fees that you need to consider along with, let's say, the fee for the fee for the actual placement itself? What are the other fees that should be considered?
The other fee is having ads. Now, Google recommends that every business have 2 to 3 digital ads for itself. And I'm always amazed that we have all of these site owners out here, and every single time I ask a business owner if they have a digital ad for their company, they look at me like I'm speaking Greek. You know, the internet is one gigantic advertising venue. And once you realize that, you as a company, you need ads. And so we've developed, TAG has the on-demand graphic design service where you can get an ad for your business for $49.95. It doesn't get any cheaper. And we've actually packaged a 5-ad design portfolio. In fact, it's actually 6 ads that are in it for less than $500. If you were to go to an agency, $500, it would be more than $500 to design you 1 ad. We're giving you 5. And our goal is to again put the tool of advertising in small businesses' hands. Now, there may be a lot of small businesses that won't have the funds, even $400 a month, to do the online media. But can they have a portfolio of ads standing by? Absolutely. Google lets its advertisers upload up to 20 different designs. That's how important they think having creative is.
And
everybody needs ads.
And are these ads different sizes? Are they different? Are they different, or do they all need to be one size to fit in a certain space?
No, the ads that we design, they're 5 different sizes. Everything from the standard medium rectangle 300 by 250 pixel ad to a 728 by 90 pixel horizontal banner. We have a 600 by 300 pixel vertical ad. We have a huge panoramic ad. All of these are in that package. And there's a dual set, a dual ad set where you actually get 2 ads for the price of 1. And all of our ads are delivered in 7 days or less. And part of that is, again, recognition that for small businesses, oftentimes the impetus to promote comes when opportunity and budget meet. And so a lot of times it's a spur of the moment idea to market as opposed to an annual plan to market, although I would ask all of the small business owners out there, as you prepare for 2015, if you don't have 2014 goals and objectives, you can go back and look over to see how you did, then you should definitely try to establish them for this coming year so that in 2016 you'll be able to look back and see how you did versus your goals and objectives.
And it sounds like if people don't have ads, that it's something that they should go ahead and try to get done, even if it's only a few, just so that when the time comes, they actually do have ads ready.
You've got ads. Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, what do you think of Google AdWords as online advertising?
Now, AdWords is a service that certainly we tap into as we provide paid search. I mean, you cannot provide paid search as a service without being involved with Google. And AdWords is Google's advertising platform, and it's an excellent platform. But a lot of our clients will turn to us, even with AdWords accounts, and ask us to manage them, because they don't want to look at the analytics, and they don't want to have to figure out the best keywords. They just want to be able to say, how much do I have to pay you to make this, be turnkey for me, and give me a report at the end of it. And so, that's what we do. We make it turnkey by having these fixed media packages, and by doing on-demand design for advertising. We bought both of these pieces together that integrate quite nicely with Google AdWords.
And what are some things that people should consider as they are designing ad creative, or even if they're not designing it themselves, that they should consider as they are giving direction to someone who's designing their ad creative?
You know, the importance of ad creative is only going to grow more and more. To date, we've been very focused in on page search, which was basically text ads. But there's been a lot of pushback from a lot of prestigious websites like the Financial Times and others that are now demanding that the whole notion of how ads online are being priced changes to one based on attention. Now, once you base an ad on attention, and that is somebody maybe pausing for 5 seconds on an ad, even if they don't click at it, if that ad is on screen for 5 seconds, then the advertiser is billed. That puts the onus back on advertising creative to be good. Before, it didn't matter. When you were just doing impression-based advertising, which a lot of advertising is just impressions. Somebody's on the page and you're considered to have been seen. Now it's getting a little bit finer, and it's putting pressure on ads to be good. And that's a good thing. That is moving in the right direction. If you look at traditional advertising has over the course of its 200-year history really honed in on a design aesthetic, and that design aesthetic is always changing. But there are some elements that we know that tend to be key. For instance, in an online ad, if you have a person in the ad and there's a message, let's say a slogan that you want to also have in that ad, it's a good thing to have that image be looking toward that slogan, because people's eyes tend to see whatever the person in the image is looking at. They look to whatever that is. So that's a little bit of a hint of how to, design an ad.
And what's the relationship between the ad that's designed? So say you do a great ad, you get people to look at it, you get them to click on it, and then they go to your site, and you haven't done some of the things that you suggested earlier to your site to freshen it up and things like that. Talk to us just a little bit about the relationship between the site and your advertising and it being effective.
I cannot stress hard enough how important it is for, once that individual clicks through an ad to your site, that site impresses them. It's the first impression opportunity. They should come away immediately knowing what you do. They should find a site that is bright, welcoming, the navigation is easy. The products, if you're selling products, that the products are laid out in such a way that it's a no-brainer to purchase. There should really be no barriers to someone going through your site, seeing what's there. But just know that research has shown that people spend less than 15 seconds on a web page. 15 seconds. You don't have time to give a bad impression. So, it's almost which comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's your website. Your website has got to be ready for traffic. So I would suggest if your website is not ready, that you step back and do the things to your website, refresh it, or just do a whole total new facelift. As I said, if it's over 2 years old, just change it. And then once you've got a beautiful site and you're ready for visitors, then that's when you can begin to put the pedal to the metal and really start doing online marketing. But that website has got to be, it's got to be together. That's your store. That's your face.
Terrific. And we're going to end on that note. Marla Curry, thank you so, so much for joining us this evening and sharing your thoughts and for telling us how we should be preparing for online marketing in 2015.
Thank you, Jill.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us this evening. Please take a look at our website, and if you are an IFAL member, you'll be able to find a recording of this presentation this evening on the IFAL member website. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this evening. Have a great rest of the night.